Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Limitless the People podcast, your cozy little corner of the internet where we talk soft skills, big feelings, and the occasional life meltdowns. I'm your host, Christina Boros, and today we're going to talk about something that's become a bit too trendy, maybe, a bit too misunderstood, and way too real: burnout. You've probably heard people say things like, I'm so burned out. I watched 5 episodes of Netflix last night and still didn't feel better. Well, yeah, okay, burnout isn't about needing a nap or a latte or a cappuccino. It's deeper, it's darker, and it's sneakier than you think. On a personal note, burnout didn't come crashing in, it crept in slowly, like a fog. I thought I was just tired or stretched too thin, but somewhere along the way I stopped hearing myself. And I wasn't leaving, I was just keeping up task by task, day after day. If you recognize anything of your experience in what I just told you, then this episode is for you. But I will tell you something else. Burnout taught me that rest isn't a reward for doing enough, it's a basic need. And that boundaries aren't a luxury, they are how we stay whole as people. So I asked someone to join me, someone who actually knows what they're talking about, an actual psychologist, not just someone with a TikTok account and a Himalayan salt lamp. Joining me today is Sergiu Maxim, coach, trainer, psychologist, a person who's helped people crawl out of burnout, understand what it really is, and brace yourselves, prevent it before it gets really ugly, because it can. Right, Sergio?
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Christina, for your invitation, and hi, everyone. I believe so too, that burnout is on everyone's lips. And just to start with, I think we are misusing the term most of the time, not knowing what we're talking about. Burnout can be for some depression or stress or workload or anxiety. So, yeah, maybe let's get a deep dive into it.
Let's do that. So, what is it? What is burnout, clinically speaking, and how is it different from just being tired or overworked, maybe, or just stressed by life?
So I think it's very important to know what we're talking about when we talk about burnout as a chronic problem. It is an individual response to chronic work stress, one that occurs primarily as a consequence of certain characteristics of the work environment. So this is burnout. It has to deal with work and some characteristics from there, like work overload or lack of autonomy or control, role ambiguity, poor working hours, and so forth. This is burnout.
Okay. But is burnout strictly correlated to work environments? So, can I leave burnout at work when I go home in the evening?
Well, burnout as mental problems, so to speak, has been defined as a problem that is related to work. We have depression, anxiety, stress, and so many other conditions that can, I don't know, describe better what an individual might feel actually. But burnout has to deal with work itself.
Okay. So, when we're talking about the general condition, it is caused by work environment?
No, no, we're
No.
no, we're going deeper.
Okay.
Yeah, we from my perspective, we cannot say that the cause is there. There are multiple conditions that lead to it, but usually the individual response is a consequence of As I said, work overload, the role ambiguity, poor working hours, and so forth. This is how we can relate burnout with what the person is describing, but not as a causality. It has so many other factors involved.
When you say it has so many other factors, help me understand a bit better, because I think still in this idea of misunderstanding burnout as a concept and what we can do with it further, it also comes from the fact that, and I'll give you an example, I'm a mom, right? And I know plenty overworked and stressed out moms who are not necessarily stressed by the work environment alone, but they are stressed due to juggling too many things, trying to fit in a schedule that goes beyond just the schedule that we have at work, right? So we have calendars that include work and work-life balance and children and you name it, a lot of things. So
Yeah.
how does this fall in?
So maybe we can talk about some I don't know, symptoms on how we can
Yes,
recognize
please.
burnout in ourselves and others. So there's emotional exhaustion, and it is more than tiredness. Yeah, it's feeling weak and weary and unable to cope with work. The core trait of burnout, and some studies show it is the first one to develop, and is the first one to develop, is emotional exhaustion. But emotional exhaustion can be from whichever aspect of life, right? Being a single parent, or having to deal with, I don't know, many other tasks and activities. But there's also the cynicism, yeah. It is an interpersonal component of burnout, and it manifests as a negative attitude towards work and other people. And there's a reduced professional efficiency. But as I'm saying, there might be other causes, and it's very important from a clinical perspective to understand the individual universe, so that we can see if it is strictly related to work and that will lead to burnout, or it has to deal with some other things from what the person is experiencing, and then maybe we can talk about depression, or I don't know, chronic stress or anxiety, or I don't know.
Okay. So I'm no specialist. You know this, right? But here is how I view things, and maybe you can correct me. So what I see, people are a complex, an overall image, right? It's not just one or the other.
Right.
As in the roles, we wear many hats, but in the end, they all complete us. They do not define us. So if I'm looking at the overall image, right? And going back to now the very comfortable for me example with the moms and the overworked and overstressed, I do see the possibility of a lot of the things that I'm doing on a daily basis or on a weekly basis being maybe more difficult or requiring more time and effort and energy from me in a certain period of time, because it can happen to anyone. And then what comes out as maybe a symptom or the apparent cause might not be it. It might be just the tip of the iceberg, you know, the image with the iceberg and the what's below the surface. It can be everything, a little bit of everything, right? But then something needs to snap.
Exactly.
Now, going further, because as I said, I've also gone through something similar. And the way I explained it to myself is that within work or within the work environment, it seems to be the most comfortable although uncomfortable, place for it to burst open, because the rest of the areas are very difficult to remove or change completely, overall makeup and so on. So I cannot trade in my child for another one, but I could leave my job and find another one.
True. As you're saying, I'm gonna use some other words for what you're saying.
Please.
We feel more in control sometimes at work, so that's why it's so easy to talk about it. And if we are getting near to a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist and only hear us talking about work and everything else is perfect in our life, then this professional will go directly to towards such a diagnosis like a burnout. But there are so many individual factors, problems in our lives, family conflicts, I don't know, our own diseases, or somebody in the family going through difficult times or health problems, but also personal beliefs such as, I don't know, perfectionism, or I don't know, a tendency towards experiencing more negative emotions and self-doubt and anxiety. All these create, so to speak, an environment that can lead to so many conditions, one of them being burnout. So if on such a ground with so much vulnerability or problems in life, usual problems in life, we have also things that have to deal with the job content. So I don't know, an overload, or problems in role clarity, or interpersonal conflicts at work, I don't know, with my boss or with some colleagues or with my client, or I don't know, continuous requirements that don't let me have I don't know, a normal program, or a lack of control over tasks and so forth. Then now we are talking about burnout, but maybe the cause or the primary condition was not burnout. It was a depression of some sort, or I don't know, some other cause. So totally agree with you.
What are then some maybe overlooked signs of burnout that people don't usually recognize or they don't associate with burnout?
Well, feeling mentally exhausted is something we hear a lot. Finding it difficult to recover after a day of work, right? We hear people talking about the fact that, I don't know, it was so hard to sleep, or it was so hard to recover after the sleep, getting tired quickly, feeling I don't know, some not willingness to go to activities, even work, feeling irritable or lashing out at others, strong aversion towards people or work itself, but also some other more large, I don't know, behaviors such as an increased substance abuse, alcohol or medication, or trouble staying focused, I don't know, making frequent mistakes. These are very typical for burnout, but very typical for many other conditions.
So the first step would be, and I'm maybe suggesting or also asking, would be to seek help, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
To start figuring out if it is burnout or if it's something else, and how to move forward with it. But I find that people do not feel comfortable asking for help. where potential mental conditions are involved.
Yeah.
So why do people feel guilty, awkward, intimidated even in admitting that they need help?
Well, it's a whole history about shame related to such diagnosis, and even burnout itself. We must be very straightforward about it. As a condition, as a mental problem, it was not until few years ago. It was not a psychiatric diagnosis, not a clear one. So yeah, shame has to deal with others, with the social factor, right? So if I see that everybody is overworking and everybody has, I don't know, two jobs, people seem very confident with their doing so many activities and things, then I might think twice if I want to share that I personally cannot handle one job. And even if it's not a lack of respect from colleagues or friends or the boss, yeah, somebody saying that you haven't done your job, or you always do this, you always do that, even if it's not a lack of respect from somebody else, I might feel uncomfortable because yeah, I see everybody doing this. Everybody's working a lot. Everybody's doing so many things. Everybody has another project or an idea, and I don't know if I even hear that, oh, there are people who enjoy life, who enjoy their weekends, or I don't know, had fun at work, then there's such a burden on my shoulders, right? That I need to be like others. It's normal to be willing to do so, but then I won't talk about myself because this is so different from what everybody else is doing and saying.
So what we're talking about is the peer pressure or the social pressure that unfortunately, and we see this happening on a daily basis right around us. People who end up saying, I will just try harder, I will work harder, I will snap out of it, I'll do it myself. But sometimes you cannot do it yourself, and it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
Whatever that help entails. Sometimes it's just a discussion. Because going to therapy or going to see a psychologist or working with a coach, it does not necessarily have to mean more than discussing with somebody.
I agree.
But that discussion with somebody is in a safe environment, in a trust environment, and it is in a vulnerable state, discussing about you and not about how we compare with others or with others' achievements and so on.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying about being vulnerable when you discuss with somebody, because yes, we can discuss with our friends or family, and this is great if we have a social support network. But also when people come to psychotherapy, they might not feel ready for talking from a vulnerable point of view. I hear so many of my clients when they come the first time saying, I think I have a burnout. I think I just had a panic attack. And I'm saying, who has diagnosed that? I haven't seen a panic attack in years in my profession, in my individual practice, because we don't see that. We don't usually see these very specific factors that are linked to a condition or another. So yeah, it's time we discuss about you, and it's time we, uh, I don't know, take a deep dive into your experience and your life, and that might hurt, and that's why probably some people don't connect to a professional, because um, there's there might be a fear that it will hurt if I'm starting to talk about myself.
Well, usually, and this is a very, very favorite example of mine. There was I'm not exactly sure whom I copied it from, because it's not mine, it's not original, I have to say it. But the example was that if you break your leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, you would go and you go to the doctors, they put a cast on, you have to sit with it, and so on. But you don't go to the doctor because you'll just snap out of it. It will just heal itself. Instead, well, in women's cases, you put on some makeup and you put on a red lipstick and you pretend everything is fine. Or in men's cases, I don't know, you put on a suit and you pretend everything is fine. Everything seems fine, but the leg won't heal itself. Not with lipstick, not with a suit, not with a beer, maybe. It won't. It needs professional help and professional experience. So,
It's a very good example, and I I think what's important in this is the fact that, um, well, yeah, we don't, we are not, each and every one of us is a doctor, right? That's why we go to doctors. Not everyone is the best listener, so that's why we have friends or we go to a psychotherapist. But when we start having some mild symptoms, very unspecific, we don't even know what it is about. Yeah, we have constant headaches, or we have a back pain, we have some fatigue. Um, these are mild symptoms, right? We might not even be aware of why we have this, but what we see is that we have them constantly. Then we can, I don't know, just go to the family doctor and talk about it, and they, by knowing our history, they will be probably able to see if, I don't know, something is very different from the last 6 months, or I don't know, it's just something that sometimes occurs. But then, when we have some moderate symptoms, such as insomnia, right? We don't sleep, and this is constant. We have problems with attention and concentration. We forget things, very important things, or we are more irritable or bored, or we have lost the motivation towards activities. Then it's very important that we address this with some with more specialized doctor, right? And it doesn't need to be from the first time the psychotherapist or the psychiatrist. We can go to a neurologist, because I don't know, insomnia hasn't happened to me in life, so this is very strange. But a neurologist might not. Um, uh, when I go to a neurologist, maybe I don't feel such a, I don't know, a shame, or I'm not so, um, um, yeah, reluctant in seeking advice from there, because they will just notice these symptoms, and if something is for real, burnout, a symptom, then they will, um, I don't know, suggest that we go to a psychotherapist or a clinician.
This is very interesting and also very real if you look around you. We are much more comfortable addressing anything that has to do with the body, right? So my back hurts, my head hurts, my ear hurts, whatever hurts. I don't have an issue to schedule an appointment with the right doctor. I'll go get a checkup, take medicine, I'm fine. When it comes to my brain, on the other hand, it seems taboo.
Yeah.
I do have a question here. How does burnout mess with us, with our identity, with our self confidence, with the way we present and feel within ourselves?
I have just described the mild and moderate levels of burnout. So these symptoms might have to deal with anything else, work included. But in a more severe condition or level, we have very increased absenteeism. We haven't been able to go to work for a few days, weeks, months, or we are isolating ourselves, not entering the meetings if we work from home, and this has been increasing since the pandemics, or we have some task aversion, or we use alcohol or drugs. Yeah, well, all of these have to deal with our identity and self-confidence, because even if we are isolating ourselves from work, from the office, from others, and we don't let people see us, or specifically because we do that, we are in a fall down, right? We are suffering a lot, and yeah, from an identity point of view or self-confidence point of view, it might take years to recover from that.
So, it's not as light as some people use the term, but still, everything and every social network and everyone has an advice on how to deal with burnout.
Yeah.
From, I don't know, a bath bomb, some oils, sleep, take a break, whatever, you name it, everybody has it. But what actually helps when you're in burnout?
It's very, very important that we seek for help, as you were saying. And if the person is reluctant to that, then maybe it's useful to look towards your circle of control. What do you feel is in your own control? Do you have some personal goals? Do you have some self-care practices that you have been neglecting? Do you have some priorities, or do you have some boundaries to set? And these are very important to be identified or reclaimed if we have forgotten about those, because by being in our self-control, then we can do them. Yeah, it might be hard, but we can do them. The hardest things are to influence others, or to I don't know, control the politics or the weather, or I don't know, the big things. Yeah, but what's in our control that we can do. And I don't know, to start with it, we can have some rest, and if we cannot rest, we can address it to a doctor that will help us with some advice, not necessarily strong pills, but some advice on how we can get the rest, and maybe some physical activity, having some doing some walks, or very mild exercises, and I don't know, putting the body to some low effort, because the exercises will immediately activate the vagus nerve by breathing more constant and more consistently, and this will help immediately, and then you can just repeat it.
I'm pretty sure you also heard this,
Yeah.
but I did hear this in the past few months from somebody close to me. Well, I went to 2 sessions. It did nothing for me.
Yeah.
What's the point in going?
Yeah, I hear it a lot.
Therapy, coaching sessions are not a one-time deal, right?
Yeah, I hear it a lot, and I always tell my clients what we discuss here and what we agree upon needs to be done, and I won't be able to do it in your place. I would love to, but I won't be able to. So it's you who needs to do what we're talking about, and what needs to be done. I mean, there are many people, very bright people, very courageous people that come to the psychotherapy sessions, and they understand immediately, and they get the logic in it, but they go back to their life and their, I don't know, pressures and activities and social life, and continue doing what they did before. And well, this is, I don't know how to put it more gently, but this is crazy to continue doing what you have done and expect some other results. This is crazy. I know it's hard. It's hard for you. It's hard for me. But somebody needs to start it, and the person, the most entitled person is yourself, right?
And to this, maybe we can discuss what I also heard as a continuation. I'm already down. I'm already overwhelmed. I'm already stressed and in a bad place. Now you ask of me more work?
Yeah, and this, even when we hear that, we can relate it to a more severe level of burnout. So this has been happening for quite a while, and maybe it's severe, maybe it's extreme. Yeah, there are 4 levels of burnout from a clinical point of view, and there's an extreme level, right? When there's such a lack of capacity to do any of the things we've talked about, that the person won't be able to. So, do you know what's interesting? The moment when we go to our family doctor or to a psychiatrist talking about this, the first thing they will suggest is holiday. You take 2 or 3 weeks of holiday, go as far as you can from an emotional point of view, not physically. You don't need to go to the other side of the planet, but take 2 or 3 weeks. Make sure you don't work. Make sure you have a good environment there, and you take the close ones, but are not overburned with what you have been, so forth. So if, I don't know, family and kids have been a problem because you have been dealing with that for the past few years, then you might need to reconsider your holiday. But take a holiday for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we can discuss.
There is this term that I've heard, and It seems very interesting to me because it's, in appearance, a contradiction in terms. It's a toxic positivity
Yeah.
that induces extra social pressure, extra stress. It puts more load on people who are maybe prone to have an open ear to the easy way out.
Yeah.
How do we avoid falling for this?
I think the most important thing is to have some very sincere, honest connections and relationships. People that we trust, they will tell us exactly what's happening in their lives. When we have such connections, then we are with our feet on the ground. There's no person on earth who is experiencing only positivity or only good feelings. Life is tough, right? So if we have some, I don't know, two, three persons, friends or family who are honest, they will tell us what they are going through, and it will keep us grounded because we will hear some things that we are experiencing. If we only are surrounded by people who have the best life, are doing their best and feel always happy and have the greatest job, the greatest marriage, and the greatest kids, then maybe we should reconsider those relationships. Are they for real? Are these people honest? Are these people sincere? And this is not to, I don't know, just question some very good moments in life or some very good times, or I don't know, people feeling happy because something good has happened to them. But as I'm saying, we must be aware of the fact that balance in life is with good and bad. It doesn't have only good. And there's also a problem with what you're saying, the positivity, the fact that some people are very prone to reading only such literature and putting such a pressure on themselves. Yeah, you will see on the shelves, how can I be happy in 7 steps, and how can I have the best marriage, how can I have the best work, how can I have the most succeeding business, and this is again crazy. We cannot expect from life only good to happen, because that's not how life is itself, right? So yeah,
Everything needs to be in balance, right?
being more in balance, reading um, positive literature. Well, it's known that for some people will make miracles, right? I mean, being more optimistic, being more positive, that helps a lot. But also, I don't know, being having the feet on the ground and being realistic and rational about it. That's that will keep us in balance.
I think we need an entire new episode, a separate one for creating and managing expectations, but that's a bit of a different story. But I did hear you mention boundaries, and this is also something that's been a hype of a word. You need to have boundaries. How do you set boundaries? Boundaries for idiots. It was right, the series of guides. What are boundaries, and how can they help?
I was talking the other day with the group about boundaries. In my work, we're dealing a lot with abusive situation, with very toxic situations, and from a physical point of view, the boundary, our personal most clear boundary, is the skin. So somebody touching me when I don't want to, if I don't want to, has to deal with them not respecting my boundaries, being abusive with me. This is from a physical point of view.
I understand the physical boundaries, but when it comes to the emotional boundaries, everything seems to be more complicated all of a sudden. So, for example, a boundary would be for me, right? If I were to set it for myself, having a 2 hour time slot where it's just for things that I want to do, right? I want to read a book, I want to light a candle, I want to do whatever. But if this is not the boundary, this is the setting, right? But if I have somebody who continuously knowing that that is my time, that is my 2 hour pocket of time where I can do whatever I want. I have somebody continuously, a parent or somebody related to me, somebody close, right? Continuously jumping in. I only need 2 minutes of that. I only have something to say. Can you just help me with this? It's short, it's quick, and I won't bother you anymore, right? These are the idioms that we hear when something like this happens. And you then feel pressured and you feel uncomfortable in telling that person who is related or close to you, this is my time.
Yeah.
How do you set a boundary in this situation?
When you say a no, make sure it's a no. And the one that respects that is yourself and not the other one. When we have clear boundaries, then we set these boundaries and we respect them ourselves. Yeah. If I don't have time talking with you, if I don't have time to help you, then I won't help you. Not saying that I don't have time, but the minute you are asking me the third time, I will jump in, right? So these are boundaries. Just set them yourself and respect them yourself. Don't expect somebody else will do it for you. And yeah, then we have ourselves to deal with when we talk about boundaries. Yeah, how do we ourselves respect our boundaries? I think what's most important is to be very realistic about them. So yeah, of course, it's nice if I want to, as you're saying, read for 2 hours or get a nap or get rested during the day. But do I really have the time? And if I truly don't, because I have my kids, I have my spouse and so forth, and I have my work and I have others to take care of or the house, then what can I drop off? Is there anything that can be eliminated, reduced, and make sure it's not sleep, or don't deprivate yourself from, I don't know, eating, but yeah, set some clear boundaries with regards to the work, and that's very important when we talk about burnout. Have a clear schedule and don't make a negotiation around that, and sleep well, eat well, and then the boundaries will be more, I don't know, easy to be set.
I heard a lot of things into what you were just explaining. One thing that I learned throughout the years and with experience, so ups and downs, nothing is perfect, is that you also mentioned no is no.
Yeah.
It's not a maybe. It's not if you do this or unless you do this, or it's a no. And what I also learned, and this was difficult for me to ascertain and fully understand, it's that telling you no, I cannot help you right now, is not a disrespect to you, is actually a form of respect to myself. because I literally cannot cut myself in 1,000 pieces. And even if I did, it wouldn't help because I wouldn't be whole to help you. So it's not a disrespect or a form of injury to you. It is, in fact, the self-care that we were talking about, right?
I think
Managing the resources that I have because they are not unlimited.
it's
But
just.
now, how do you say no without adding a 400-word apology and explanation to it?
I think it's both. It's self-care and respect for the other. If a no is a no, then it shows respect also to the other. They might not feel very um, well about it. Yeah, they might feel frustrated, but they will respect it sometime, someday, because it was very clear. Um, why it's important to do so? Because when my clear answer was a clear no, and I won't act in any way that it's a yes, but my actions will say it's a no, then I I have no chance in becoming a victim in our interaction. I will be an adult, very mature human being, respecting their own needs and respecting the fact that um, there's a person in front of me and they need to see that some boundaries. Um, if they um, act as if they are hurt, or if they don't, but I anyways feel the need to excuse it, to talk in so many words and excuse myself and um, say how sorry I am because I'm not able to do it. This is not very helpful. It's okay to be sympathetic and show empathy, because yeah, another person is seeking for my help, and it's always useful to show that I'm empathic and I understand they need it. But if they want me to help, then I will be able to do it in my conditions. And this is it. Just stop your excuses, or I don't know, you're feeling sorry about it with I understand, and if I am to do it or if I am to help you, I will I will do it in these conditions. But if not, then a no is a no, and just just cut the politeness, because it's usually a mountain of politeness and we're not being sincere about it, and that is usually leading towards our own inner conflict. Yeah, not being able to be true to ourselves and true to others.
Yeah, some conditioning there as well
Mm-hmm.
added. So what I learned from you in this discussion is, let's call it maybe a mini list
Mm-hmm.
of prevention tips,
Mm-hmm.
right? Schedule real rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I would add here that scrolling isn't rest.
No, no, by
Sorry,
all
not
means.
sorry.
By all means, scrolling is not rest. Keeps our mind flooded with information, and unfortunately, by doing so, we are not at ease. We are always stimulated, and our attention goes um, in so many places. So the mind is,
A mile a minute.
yeah.
Okay, so schedule real rest. Learn what self-care means to you,
Mm-hmm.
because it's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a candle and
Yeah.
some essential oils. It might
Why
be.
not?
But it's also important to learn what it is for you and what helps you. Nature, walking, oils, music, dancing,
Yeah.
whatever makes your heart sing even for a second. Saying no without the 400 words apology and explanations. And also, the most important thing, ask for help like it's normal. Because it is.
Yeah.
It is normal to ask for help. And this is something that needs to be normalized, right? And widely accepted that if I have an issue, I will search for help. And that is self-preservation and self-care at its best. If there is one very important thing that I would like everybody to take away from this discussion today, burnout is not weakness. It's not laziness. It's not a personality flaw. It cannot be fixed with toughening it up and riding through the storm alone, right? It's a red flag, a giant red flag that your brain is waving and saying, help me help you so we can continue together, because it's a partnership, right? Thank you, Sergiu, for helping us clear out and bringing some more dignity to the subject and some more openness, right, and transparency.
Thank you, Christina.
Final question to you. If somebody's listening right now and they realize they have the symptoms of a burnout, what's the one thing they should do today?
Well, the first thing is to stay connected with others. I think that's the most important thing. Be it a friend, be it family, be it a psychotherapist. And if the others around you don't help you, then seek for a professional.
So ask for help.
Yeah.
Like it's normal.
Yeah. It is normal.
It is normal. It's true. And it's also vital before you go into, you said 4 stages, right? So
Yeah.
before you go to the more severe and difficult stages.
Yeah, it's normal because it means building relationships and recharging, and it's very normal to do so.
And let's not forget it is done step by step.
Exactly.
Not all at once.
Exactly.
It doesn't go all at once. Unfortunately, nobody seems to have invented the magical wand that will make everything go away in an instant. Thank you for listening. Share this with somebody who's been maybe sighing a little bit too often next to you lately. Subscribe, leave a review if your energy levels allow, and remember, we are not machines. We are not meant to run non-stop. We deserved and are allowed to rest before we all collapse. I am Christina Boros, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.